Hi friends, thank you very much for clicking ABC Learning English Solution. Friends, today on this podcast, we are gonna discuss about one of the most important section of English grammar, that is gerund, participle and infinitive. My dear friends, these are most important part, and also this is very confusing section. As a result, we face different types of problems. So my dear friends, on this podcast, we will discuss how to identify gerund, participle and infinitive in a sentence. First of all, think about the origin of these three words. Actually, the verb may be divided into two parts. The verb may be divided into two parts. One is called finite verb, and another one is called non-finite verb. Non-finite, or you can say infinite. Actually, my dear friends, this prefix just mean not. This prefix means not. So one part is finite, another part is non-finite, or you can say not finite or infinite. Actually, these two terms means this one. Now, you know, my dear friends, finite verb, these are divided into two parts. One is called transitive verb, another one is called intransitive verb. Transitive and intransitive. But here on this podcast, we will discuss about this section. We will not discuss about this section right now. Even though I am just going to inform you about this term. Transitive means the verb with object, and intransitive means the verb without object. This is that. So object, and this is with object. But we are not going to focus this part right now. We'll focus this section. So my dear friends, as this is the part of the verb, obviously in this section there will be the presence of verb in these terms. So here non-finite verb are subdivided into three parts. One is called gerund, another one is called participle, and the third one is called infinitive. So my dear friends, non-finite verb again subdivided into three parts. One is called gerund, another one is called participle, and the third one is called infinitive. Now my dear friends, gerund is single, and participle, it is also subdivided into three parts. One is called present participle, another one is called past participle, and the third one is called perfect participle. So participle again subdivided into three parts: present participle, past participle and perfect participle. And infinitive, it is divided into two parts: with to, that means to plus V1, another one is without to. That means here we only use the present form of the verb. It is called bare infinitive, and this one is infinitive. Actually, my dear friends, these are the divisions, but we have to know, what is gerund, what is participle and what is infinitive. Let's look at this section. My dear friend, the form of gerund is this one. That means the present form of the verb and ing. Participle, the same thing, present form of verb plus ing. And infinitive, the form of infinitive is to plus present form of verb. Actually, my dear friends, present form of verb, just like this one, swim. Swim plus ing. So this one, and it will become swimming. So this form, swimming, can be used as gerund, can be used as participle. And infinitive means to plus verb 1, suppose to play. This is the form of the infinitive. Now, my dear friends, the most important thing is these two things are almost similar. That's why it creates a huge problem. And we will discuss about this one. Now, one thing to remember, in this part, gerund, verb plus ing, it is basically used as noun in the sentence. That means this term, swimming, suppose swimming, when this term will act as a noun, at that time it will be called as gerund. If this term used as an adjective, it will be called as participle. And again, infinitive, this term, there is to plus v1, that means present form of verb, just like this one, to play, and it will not act as a verb in the sentence, rather it will act as a noun in the sentence. That time we call it an infinitive. So my dear friends, from this section it is clear that verb with ing used as noun is called gerund. Verb with ing used as adjective is called participle. And to plus present form of verb acts like a noun is called an infinitive. Now my dear friends, we should know what's the difference between finite and non-finite verb. Let's look at the example. So my dear friends, I have written here some of the examples. So first of all, I have written I like swimming. In the second sentence, I have written he likes swimming. Just think about this part. Here, the subject is I, that's why we have written like. And this part, it is same. In the second sentence, subject is he, and we have changed the form of the verb. We have added s with the verb. And then swimming, it is same. If it is past form, I liked swimming, that means this portion will be changed, but this part remain the same. Same thing happens here also. So this part is not changed. That means as per the laws of agreement, subject verb agreement, you know the verb changes according to the number and person of the subject. So here I is first person singular number. We have at first we wrote down like. It is third person singular number. We have added s with it. So these verbs are changed according to the person and number of the subject, but this part is not changed. These are remain same. Again here you can see I like to swim. This section, it is not changed. I like to swim, he liked to swim. Look at this part, the verb is according to the tense, the verb is changed, but this part is not changed. Again in the last sentence you can see swimming is a good game. So here this part will not be changed if we change the tense of the sentence. So if we write down was, so it will not affect this section. As per the person and number, these will not change. Even though you can see these words, these types of words are formed with the base form of verb and ing, or here the base form of verb and before that to. So there is the characteristic of verb. It's clear because it is formed with the help of the verb. So obviously in this part there are the characteristics of verb, even though these are not changed according to the subject and person. So these words which are not changed, which remain same, these are called non-finite verb. Non-finite. And the verbs which are changed according to the tense, according to the person, according to the number of the subject, these types of verbs are called finite verb. My dear friends, I think you can understand the difference between finite and non-finite verb. Actually, these are very important to know clearly about gerund, participle and infinitive. Now one thing I should mention. So my dear friends, I have written here some of the examples. Let's think about seriously. Here at first I have written I am dancing. Actually my dear friends, I have used the same word, the same verb in all the sentences. In the second sentence I have written dancing is a good exercise. In the third sentence, I saw a dancing girl. And in the fourth sentence, I have written, I saw her to dance. So here, my dear friends, I have used the V1, 2 plus V1 form. Here I have used verb with ing. Same thing here, verb with ing, and here also same verb with ing. Now, you know, my dear friends, in continuous tense, always we use verb with ing. Look at this sentence. I am playing football. I am playing football. If it is past continuous, we use I was playing football. So this term verb with ing, which is called participle, it is used in continuous tense also. Again, it is used, this form is used in gerund whenever it is noun. Whenever it is adjective, it is participle. And whenever it is noun, it is called infinitive. Now, my dear friends, you know, noun means the naming word. Always it refers to a name of anything. Maybe name of a person, maybe name of an activity, maybe name of an idea, whatever it may be. If it is a name, then it is a noun. An adjective always modify or say something special about the noun. That means an adjective always modify or quantify whatever it may be. Maybe it modifies the noun, maybe it quantifies the noun, whatever it may be, that will be called adjective. And whenever this participle acts as adjective, it is called participle. But whenever this term is used as verb in continuous tense, maybe present continuous, maybe past continuous, maybe future continuous, in these three tenses we use this form, this participle form. But my dear friends, always remember continuous verb with ing, If it is used purely as a verb, before that obviously there will be an auxiliary verb. Without the help of auxiliary verb, the ing form cannot be used purely as a verb. So whenever there is auxiliary verb before the ing form, obviously this is a continuous form of a sentence. Maybe it is present continuous, maybe it is past continuous, maybe it is future continuous. Only these three forms can be formed by using ing. So here in this case you can see dancing preceded by the term am, and am is an auxiliary verb. So this term we cannot call it a gerund or a participle or an infinitive. Nothing can be called. It is purely as a verb, continuous verb. So it's purely as a verb. I just informed you this one because we have to differentiate these ing form with the others. That means these ing form can be used as a pure verb. These ing form can be used as a participle only, and these ing form can be used as a gerund. That's why I informed you this one. If there is auxiliary verb before the ing form of the verb, then obviously it is purely a verb, continuous verb. Now my dear friends, let's look at the second sentence. Here we have written dancing is a good exercise. So before this term dancing, there is no such auxiliary verb. That means it is not a continuous verb. It is not a continuous verb. So what can it be? It may be a gerund, it may be a participle. So what to think now? We have to think whether it is used as a noun or it is used as an adjective. If it is a noun, we will call it a gerund. If it is adjective, we will call it a participle. Now look at this part. Here dancing is a good exercise. Now my dear friends, so this term is the subject of this sentence. This term is the subject of this sentence. And you know my dear friends, the subject can be a noun, maybe a pronoun, maybe a noun phrase, maybe a noun clause, maybe a gerund, but not a participle. A participle cannot be the subject of a sentence. So, because you know, participle means it acts like an adjective. An adjective cannot be the subject of a sentence. So, if the ing form of the verb is used as a subject in a sentence, obviously it's a gerund. So, this is used as subject. So, obviously it's a gerund. It's a naming word here. That means it is the name of a particular activity, and this is the subject and this is the complement of this sentence. So my dear friends, I think you can understand the meaning of gerund here. Now let's look at the next sentence. I saw a dancing girl. Here look at this sentence. This is the subject. This is the verb V2 form. This is maybe adjective, maybe adverb, and a dancing girl. So here look at this part, this term. It is a non-finite verb, or you can say infinite verb. So obviously it will not be changed. That means the form will not be changed, but it is used as the complement section. This is the subject, this is the verb, and rest of the part may be object, may be complement. Here you can see this term is modifying this one. This term is modifying or saying something extra or saying something special about a noun. So this is the girl, this is a noun, and this word is informing you about the state of this girl. That means this word saying something special about this girl or this noun. So obviously it's an adjective. And if it is an adjective, I will call it a participle, not a gerund. At last, my dear friends, I will give you some tricks. You can say some tricks which will help you to differentiate whether it is participle or it is gerund. But let's try to understand the part of speech of this section. If you can understand the part of speech, it will be very easier for us. So in the next sentence, I saw her to dance. So this is the subject, this is the verb, this is the object, and this is this one. This one is used as a noun. It is not a verb. Verb, we have used it. It is used as an object in the sentence. So it will be called an infinitive. Now, my dear friends, consider about these two sentences. Now, my dear friends, one thing, suppose a verb with ing. Here, these are in this sentence, you know, this is a non-finite verb. My dear friends, these non-finite verbs are formed with the base verb and ing. That means we add the present form of verb, then ing. And whenever it is used as gerund participle, it is not a main verb. Even though sometimes we can see the characteristic of verb in the sentence. It is not a verb, even though it has the characteristics of verb. That's the same thing happens with this one, gerund and participle, with participle also. Whenever this participle having the characteristic of a verb in a sentence, it is called verb adjective or verbal adjective, and it is called verbal noun. That means in gerund there may be the characteristic of noun and also the verb, and in participle there may be the characteristic of adjective and also the verb. I am just going to give you an example. Suppose this example, hearing the noise. Hearing the noise, I went outside. Look at this sentence. Hearing the noise, I went outside. So here this is purely a non-finite verb. But here this is the finite verb. That means it will be changed according to the tense, according to the subject, or according to the person of the subject. This will not be changed. This form will not be changed. So obviously it's a non-finite verb. So this term hearing, it is a non-finite verb, and you can see it is non-finite verb. Again, hearing the noise, I went there. So after that, after this term hearing, there is a term which is a noun. So obviously this term is a participle. That means this term is a participle and it is saying something about this noise. And here in this sentence you can see this term qualifies the subject. That means I went outside. It means I have heard this one. I have heard this noise, and after that I went outside. So this term qualifies the term I. And my dear friends, you can see this is a participle even though this term has taken an object in this sentence. So normally the verbs takes object. The verbs takes object. An adjective cannot take an object. But here that means there is the characteristic of a verb. That's why it is called verbal adjective. I mean to say, in gerund there may be the characteristic of a noun and also characteristic of a verb, and in participle there may be the characteristic of adjective and also the characteristic of a verb. Now my dear friends, the most important thing, we have to find out whether the verb with ing form is the participle or the gerund. I am just going to give you some tricks which will help you to understand whether this word is an adjective or this word is a noun. If it is a noun, we will call it a gerund. If it is an adjective, we will call it a participle. Look at the first sentence. I saw a dancing girl. Here, this term, we have to decide about this term. This is verb with ing, and before that there is no such auxiliary verb. So obviously it's not a verb here. That means it's not a continuous verb. So what it may be? It may be an gerund, it may be a gerund or a participle. Now we have to think whether it is noun or it is adjective. If it is adjective, obviously after that one there must be a noun. So here in this sentence you can see there is a noun, and this word saying something about this girl. So obviously it's an adjective. This is one of the ways to find out whether it is an adjective or a noun. There is some other thing. Look at this one. So in the first part we got this is an adjective. That means it's a participle, present participle. There is another thing. Think about it. My dear friends, in English language, we can replace the same part of speech on that place. Here I am just taking one adjective. We got this is adjective. So if we replace the word with an adjective, the sentence will be meaningful. Suppose I write down cheerful, or I write down beautiful. My dear friends, here I saw a beautiful girl. It has a complete sense. That means we have replaced dancing with this word and the meaning is perfect. That means instead of dancing we have written beautiful. Dancing was an adjective, and we have used another adjective in that position, and the sentence remain meaningful. So as it is an adjective, we can replace this adjective with another adjective. If we use any noun here, it will be mismatched. My dear friends, if we write down good, it is an adjective. But if we write down a noun here, suppose the name, there is a noun. So I saw a Sita girl. This is the name of a girl. But the sentence is not meaningful. It's unnatural. That's why. That means if it would be a gerund, the sentence must be meaningful. But if it is not, it's not a gerund. It's a participle. That's why it is mismatched. So my dear friends, I just gave you the second clue to find out the participle. So you got it. That means the adjective will be replaced with another adjective and the meaning will be same. Same thing happens with the nouns. Here this is the subject of this sentence. As it is the subject of this sentence, obviously it will be a noun or pronoun. So it's not a pronoun, so obviously it's a noun. Now you just replace this one. Do not use this term. You just write down other noun here, which is resemble to this one. It was dancing, and I am replacing this word with another noun. Suppose I write down wrestling. Wrestling is a good exercise. Wrestling is the name of one kind of game. So the meaning is same. It is not changed. Okay. So my dear friends, here you can see we can replace these. We can replace one word with just like the same part of speech. So here we replaced the word dancing with wrestling. So my dear friends, the meaning is not changed. Meaning is same, almost same. Now I am giving you just another clue. If it is adjective, if the word is participle or you can say adjective, you can rewrite this sentence in this way. I saw a girl who was dancing. Look at this part. Who was dancing? That means the dancing girl is entirely converted into an adjective clause. We just changed the form of these two words. I saw a girl who was dancing. In noun clause, if it is gerund, you cannot change it in this way. That will be unnatural. That will be meaningless. But here it is meaningful. The meaning is same. I saw a dancing girl. I have written here I saw a girl who was dancing. That means the same thing. We have used the same thing. Just in these two words I have taken and I have made another same clause, another adjective clause. So this is one of the ways to find out whether it is adjective or noun. Now my dear friends, so this is the third one. Now my dear friends, I am giving you the last clue from which you can understand whether it is a noun or an adjective. I am writing down another example. Seeing is believing. So here this is the word, this is the noun or the subject in this sentence, and this is the complement. Complement, even though it is a ing word. So here in this sentence, if you think about the meaning of this sentence, you can see this term dancing or dancing girl always give you a picture of a movement. If you think about this sentence, I saw a dancing girl, it means the girl is dancing. At that time you saw her. That means there is a movement always in adjective. There must be a movement, but in noun it is in fixed position. Here this one, seeing is believing. This one is fixed and this one is also fixed. That means we cannot find out movement in these two words, but here we can find out movement. I saw a dancing girl, it means the girl is dancing. That means there is a movement in this part. But here this is here this word is fixed. This word is also fixed. That means these are nouns. So the gerund will be fixed and the adjective, there must be a movement. This is the fourth clue. My dear friends, I think it's clear to you. You can find out the gerund and the participle. And infinitive, it is 2 plus V1. Sometimes it is used 2 plus V1 or sometimes it is used only V1. It is called bare infinitive. We will discuss about all these things later. But if you see 2 plus V1, that will be called as an infinitive. In the next video, I will discuss about the usage of gerund, participle, infinitive in our regular sentences. So my dear friends, thank you very much for watching this video, and I will be highly obliged if you share or like this video. Thank you very much.